Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gene Edwards. You are watching NHL Aftermath with myself and Sam Jackson. However, Sam Jackson is on vacation, so I am going shotgun for this episode. We were not going to actually do an episode this week, but with what happened this morning, I feel it was a necessity to at least do a solo shot of myself. I would have loved to get Sam's take on it, but he's actually on vacation visiting his parents, and I am going to leave it at that. But yeah, big, huge news. We're going to dive into that as Erik Karlsson goes to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That deal is finally done. Very intricate deal, as several pieces were involved. I believe it was 12 pieces that were involved. Matt Dumba is moving on to a new team as well. And there's been some arbitration results already took place and have been resolved. And yeah, there's just a little bit of news that I just couldn't ignore, so I'm going to do this solo today. Next week, there's a good chance I won't be doing an episode because I am going to be in Seattle next week. So I will try to get back for the Saturday episode with Sammy. But without further ado, let's dive into this on this episode. The first thing I want to touch base on with you guys is something that was that came out. Well, those of you that follow the Oilers as much as I do, now this may be very dull news to you guys, but Jeff Jackson, Connor McDavid's former agent, is no longer Connor McDavid's agent, as he took on a, I guess, assistant CEO role or some form of CEO role with the Edmonton Oilers organization. And I'm reading a bunch of stuff on this. And it's like that the Oilers are doing a sneaky tactic to keep McDavid here. My take on that is BS. There's no way that this is a sneaky tactic. There's two things that motivate hockey players. There's one of two things: money or winning. Okay? Now, I don't think McDavid is after the money. He's after the winning. If he notices this team declining and not getting to the point of where he like a dead end zone that he's not going to win a cup with, I'm sure he's going to want to pack his bags and try to move on to a contender at some point in time. That being said, he loves the city of Edmonton, and I think he's here for at least one more contract, and I think Leon Draisaitl is pretty much the same thing as well. So to hear people saying that, oh, we're doing, or that the Oilers are doing sneaky tactics, I call BS on it. He's going to go if he feels that the Oilers are not capable of getting him that Stanley Cup. It's just that simple. Okay, let's get into some of the arbitration stuff that took place. As yeah, there's been a bit of movement here regarding some of the players here and signings. Just going to pull up the graphics. You have to bear with me. I'm doing this solo, so it might be a little bit slower this week at getting all these graphics pulled up. But some of the arbitration names, and I'm going to go through a few of them and what they settled at, but it includes Swayman, McLeod, Samsonov are amongst some of them that got signed. Now, some of these are about 2 weeks old, so bear with me. But we're going to start off with Jeremy Swayman, as he... where's Jeremy Swayman here? I believe he... Okay, hang on one second. Okay, I'm going to start off with Philip Grushfire here. I got the wrong order started. So I'm going to start off where I'm supposed to start off. I apologize again, guys. We're going to start off with Philip Kurashev. His hearing date was supposed to be July the 20th. His previous salary was $750 million on a one-year deal, AAV. He was requesting 2.65. He actually did okay here, as he was awarded 2.25. The team was trying to get him for 2 years at 1.4 AVV. So he did actually quite nicely. Then we move on to Ilya Samsonov, I believe. Just one second here. So, and that's just, by the way, that little ticker there that you just saw is, you can leave comments if you're watching this live. But Ilya Samsonov, for the Toronto Maple Leafs, his hearing date was on July 21st. Previous salary was 1 year at 1.8 million AAV. He submitted that he thinks he's worth 4.9, and he was awarded 3.55. So then we go on to this would be who is that? That is, got this all mixed up. I had it all in order and it's all mixed up now. Trent Frederick. And I don't have his numbers here, so I'm going to have to move on. I apologize for this. I just scrambled to get this episode together for tonight. We're going to move on to the next one. You can see on the graphic anyway. Troy Terry is the next one. His hearing date was supposed to be August the 2nd. His previous salary was 3 years at 1.450 million AAV. The agreement was reached before the settlement as he received a 7-year, $49 million contract. We move on to Ryan McLeod of the Edmonton Oilers, my boy Ryan, as he signed a contract for 1 year, 2 years at 4.2 million. His previous deal was 1 year at 798,000. So he did okay. We expected him, as Oiler fans, we expected him to take a bit of time. And now there is word that they are closing in on getting our defenseman signed there. Okay, let's move on to the next one. As we got Brendan Scallon of the New York Rangers. 2 years at 925,000. They reached an agreement before the hearing date of 775,000. So another one that was resolved before the arbitration date. And then we got Philip. I think this is where I was at, was Philip Gustafson here. Where is he now? See, I don't even have his. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Philip Gustafson of the Minnesota Wild. It got a little mixed up on me, guys, but I got the numbers here. His hearing date was August the 4th. His previous salary was 2 years for 787.5 AAV. The result was reached before arbitration as they signed him to a 3-year, $11.25 million contract. And then we got Jeremy Swayman. I don't know, did we go over Jeremy Swayman? I think that covers everything. So, yeah, so there you have it, guys. Some interesting results with the arbitration. Some of the guys got pretty damn close to what they wanted. And yeah, that's definitely was a player's market. We were happy to get, get Ryan McLeod in at where we did, and that allows us to maybe free up some money for the Oilers. The Oilers are really, really in tight. Okay, so we're going to get into the Matt Dumba situation, as the Arizona Coyotes have picked up him on a pretty reasonable deal, but he is actually a pretty solid defenseman. The Arizona Coyotes pick him up on a 1-year deal, $3.9 million per, or not per, but for the 1 year. Pretty solid numbers. I got his numbers here. So he's played 10 years in the league, all with the same team. He was drafted by the Minnesota Wild in 2012, 7th overall, and he's been their stud since. So this is going to be his first taste of playing in a different market. 598 games, 79 goals, 157 assists, and 236 points for a plus minus. This is what I think is impressive. Plus minus of 29. So he's a plus 29. Pretty solid D, man. I'm surprised that the Minnesota Wild couldn't lock him in at that amount. Like, why that seems like a very reasonable contract for a guy that can do what he does. So I don't know. I don't know why they decided to part ways. That's pretty crazy. Okay, we are going to go on to the big news of the day, and that is Erik Karlsson is now a Pittsburgh Penguin. Can't fault Dubas for this contract or for getting this deal done, knowing that Crosby is getting up there in age and knowing Malkin's getting Letang, knowing that this could be the last hurrah for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I definitely emphasize this was a great move for him. Yeah, it's going to probably hurt them in the next couple of years, but right now it's do or combust, basically. It's like they need to do this. They need to get that quarterback on their line, and this is quite the deal, as it involves 12 pieces. So Erik Karlsson goes to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it says here $1.5 million retained. So they're still picking up $10 million of that contract. They're also getting Rem Pitlick, Dustin Hamulek, if I'm pronouncing these names again, I always struggle with my pronunciation. Hamulek, and they are going to also receive a 3rd round pick in 2026. The San Jose Sharks, again, this is a 3-team deal. The San Jose Sharks will receive a 1st round pick in 2024. Now this is top 10 protected. Michael Granlund, so I think Pittsburgh's happy to get rid of that one. Jan Ruda, and Mike Hoffman. The Montreal Canadians will receive Pittsburgh Penguins' 2nd round pick in 2025. Jeff Petrie is coming back to the Canadians, which kind of surprised me because I think he had kind of a falling out when he left that city. But he's coming back. Casey DeSmith will head over to Montreal, and Nathan Legarian. So yeah, this is a massive deal. We all saw this coming. Can't say enough. I think this is going to be really good for Pittsburgh. Having a quarterback defenseman like Erik Karlsson in the line, in the lineup with a Crosby and a Malkin, that's sick, man. So I think we can see Pittsburgh playoff bound. Injury, obviously, injuries will play a role in how that season plays out. But really, I think Pittsburgh did really good. And Kyle Dubas, he threw all his chips in the middle on this one. And you can't really fault him for that. Anyway, guys, I'm keeping this as a short episode. Like I said, we weren't even going to do an episode because I don't have Sammy aboard to kind of spew off stuff. So we will be back hopefully next week. Like I say, I'm going to be in Seattle next week to actually check out a Major League Baseball game. I'm going to check out the Mariners. I think the Orioles, I think it is. So that's the plan. And it's supposed to be Friday night. I think I'd be coming back home Saturday, so I should be around for Saturday at 6 p.m. Sammy cannot do Sunday videos at all, so if I can't do it Saturday, I will do a Sunday video if there's some reputable and good stories to talk about. But other than that, we're done for this week. I'm going to make it short and sweet. And now I have to do the part of Sammy. So if you're witnessing this channel for the very first time and like the content that I bring or that Sammy brings, feel free to hit like, share, and subscribe. I also have my channel that's starting up in the fall called Lubed. That is all Edmonton Oiler based. You got to also be ready to prepare with me stumbling from time to time or screwing up the graphics because I do this all live and I got a lot of things on the go. So sometimes it gets a little tough to control, but I try to reduce the mistakes as much as possible. But I do try to give you as accurate information as possible. And I do want you guys to correct me if I am giving you information that is incorrect. Anyway, guys, we will see you next week for another edition of NHL Aftermath with myself and Sam Jackson. We'll talk soon.